Souls of Sport 17, Kobe Bryant, Much Too Much. Chapter 1, The Foundation. The world has seen very few basketball players as great as Kobe Bryant. That is not a small statement. That is not something you just say because somebody was popular, because they played in Los Angeles, or because they had highlights, sneakers, commercials, and a famous name. When you talk about the greatest basketball players ever, you're entering sacred territory. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Stephen Curry, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, and only a few others did something so rare that the game itself could not tell its own story without them. Kobe Bryant belongs in that conversation. You can argue where he belongs, that is part of sports. Some people have him higher, some people have him lower, some people compare him to Jordan, some compare him to LeBron. Some say he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan that basketball ever produced. But no matter what you rank him, one thing is not debatable. Kobe Bryant was one of the few. He was much too much. Too skilled, too driven, too layered, too obsessed, too decorated. Too difficult to explain with one highlight, one stat, one ring count, one comparison, or one nickname. Before he became the Black Mamba, before number 8 and number 24 became legendary, before the fadeaway, before the rings, before the 81-point game, before the final 60, Kobe Bryant was already being shaped by basketball in a way most kids never experienced. He was born into the game. His father, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant, was a professional basketball player. Joe played in the NBA and later played overseas. That matters because Kobe Bryant did not grow up looking at a basketball like some faraway dream. He grew up around the game, around gyms, around professionals, around the idea that basketball was not just something you played when you had time. It was something you studied, something you lived, something that could take you around the world. And that will become part of Kobe's story early. When Kobe was a child, his family moved to Italy while his father continued his professional career overseas. That Italy chapter is important. It is not just a cute little detail in the biography. It helps explain the foundation. A lot of kids learn basketball by going to the park, dribbling, shooting, playing one-on-one, talking, competing, and figuring things out through instinct. There is value in that. That builds toughness, that builds creativity, that teaches you how to survive. But Kobe was getting something different too. In Reggio Emilia, Kobe was not just running around playing wild basketball. He was learning fundamentals, passing, screening, moving without the ball, spacing, rhythm, team basketball, how the game works when the ball is not in your hands. A lot of kids learn how to score before they learn how to play. Kobe was learning how basketball breathes. The little hoop in Reggio Emilia is part of the answer to how Kobe Bryant became much too much. Because when a child starts learning movement, spacing, passing, screening, patience, and footwork that early, it becomes part of the way he sees the floor. It becomes part of the basketball language. And when Kobe came back to the United States, that foundation came with him. Then came Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania. That is where the American basketball world really started to see what was coming. Kobe was not just a high school basketball player. He was a national name. He became a McDonald's All-American. He became a National Player of the Year. He led Lower Merion to state championships. He became Southeastern Pennsylvania's all-time leading scorer with 2,883 points. That is not normal. By the time Kobe got to the NBA, he was not just a talented teenager. He was a teenager with a pro basketball father, an international childhood, a European basketball foundation, an elite high school resume, and a mind already tuned towards greatness. The signs were there. The world just had to catch up. Chapter 2, The Arrival. The first time I really became aware of Kobe Bryant was around the 1996 NBA draft, and that 1996 draft class was loaded. But let's be honest, at that moment, the spotlight was not automatically on Kobe Bryant. A lot of eyes were on Allen Iverson, and rightfully so. Iverson was at Georgetown. He had that speed, that handle, that crossover, that fearlessness, that cultural impact. He was small, but he played like he was gigantic. To me, Allen Iverson is one of the purest combo guards I've ever seen. A little man who could play shooting guard and still terrorize the league. So when Kobe Bryant came out of high school, picked 13th, not everybody knew what he was about to become. People were still skeptical of high school basketball players going straight to the NBA. Kobe was more of a mystery to a lot of people. He was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, but he never played for them. His draft rights were traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. And that same summer, Shaquille O'Neal left the Orlando Magic and signed with the Lakers. So Kobe's NBA story begins with Shaq already in the building. That is important. Kobe did not have a before Shaq NBA chapter. His career starts in LA with Shaq already there, already a superstar, already one of the most physically dominant players on earth. But Kobe was still a teenager. He had to grow, and that growth became both flashes and failures. In 1997, Kobe won the NBA Slam Dunk Contest as an 18-year-old rookie. It was the young kid telling the league, I'm not just here to wait my turn. The same rookie year also gave us one of the most important failures of his career, the Utah Airballs. In the 1997 playoffs against the Utah Jazz, Kobe shot 4 airballs in an elimination game, 1 late in regulation, 3 more in overtime. Airballs are different. You can miss a shot and people move on, but airballs follow you, especially when you're 18 years old and everybody's watching. That could have broken a young player. Some players never recover from embarrassment like that. Kobe turned embarrassment into information. Later, he understood that those shots were not short because he was scared. They were short because his legs were gone. His body was not ready yet for the NBA schedule, the playoff intensity, and that kind of pressure. That is Kobe Bryant right there. Most people would have felt humiliated and tried to forget it. Kobe studied it. He learned from it. He got stronger. And even then, Shaq understood something about him. Shaq was not mad that Kobe missed those shots. He respected that Kobe had the guts to take them. That matters because those airballs did not show Kobe was weak. They showed that he was willing. And a player who is willing at 18 years old, even when the moment crushes him, is a player you better watch. Then came the early explosions, the dunks, the crossovers, the 1-foot takeoffs, the kind of plays where you see the future coming before the numbers fully caught up. There was an early Kobe poster moment where he had the ball up top, hit the defender with a crossover, opened the lane, took off in stride, and attacked the rim like he was announcing something. Whether people remember the exact defender or the exact game differently, the meaning is the same. Kobe was no ordinary teenager. The airball showed he could survive embarrassment. The dunk contest showed he wanted the stage. The early posters showed what kind of violence his game was capable of. The Black Mamba was not fully formed yet, but the ingredients were already there. Chapter 3, The Dynasty. To talk about Kobe Bryant, you have to talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq had already been close before Los Angeles. He went to the finals with Penny Hardaway and the Orlando Magic, but they ran into Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets in 1995 and got swept. So Shaq had reached the mountaintop, but he had not conquered it yet. Then he came to LA. And when you put Shaq with Kobe Bryant, people knew it could be special. But I don't think people fully understood how crazy it could become because Shaq was the unstoppable body. Kobe was the unstoppable will. Shaq was power. Kobe was pressure. Shaq was force. Kobe was obsession. Together they became the last true NBA three-peat dynasty. But it didn't happen overnight. Kobe had to grow through the airballs, the limited rookie minutes, the playoff losses, the role changes, and the pressure of becoming great beside a player as dominant as Shaq. Then came the first championship in 2000. The Lakers team was a machine. Shaq was at the peak of his powers. He was the league MVP. He was too big, too strong, too explosive, and too skilled around the rim. Teams could throw bodies at him, foul him, double him, triple him, and he could still destroy the whole game. But Kobe was growing right beside him. The Lakers had to survive Portland in the Western Conference Finals. Game 7 of that series is one of the most classic Laker moments. The Lakers were down big in the fourth quarter, and it looked like the season might slip away. Then they came back. And when Kobe threw that alley-oop to Shaq, it became more than a play. It became the dynasty announcing itself. In the finals, the Lakers beat the Indiana Pacers. Shaq was dominant and won Finals MVP, but Kobe had his own moment in Game 4. Shaq fouled out, and Kobe helped carry the Lakers in overtime. Because even though Shaq was the biggest force, Kobe showed he was not just some young sidekick. He was becoming a closer. Then came 2001. That might have been the cleanest version of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. They were not perfect during the regular season, but once the playoffs started, they turned into a storm. They swept through the Western Conference. Then they reached the finals against Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. Iverson gave them the legendary Game 1. Fearless, brilliant, the Tyronn Lue, the step over, one of the most iconic moments in basketball history. But after that, the Lakers took control. They won 4 straight. They finished that playoff run 15-1. That's not just winning, that's destruction. Shaq was Finals MVP again, but Kobe was now a true star, a two-way nightmare, a guard who could score, defend, create, and attack anybody. Then came 2002. That third ring was a war. The Sacramento Kings pushed the Lakers to the edge. That Kings team was real. Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, Doug Christie, ball movement, confidence, skill. They were not afraid of the Lakers, but the Lakers survived. Robert Horry hit one of the most famous shots in playoff history. Game 7 went to overtime. The pressure was enormous, and somehow Kobe and Shaq made it through. They swept the New Jersey Nets in the finals, 3 straight rings. That matters because the three-peat is one of the hardest things to do in basketball. Winning once is hard. Winning twice is harder. Winning 3 straight times means everybody knows who you are. Everybody is tired of you. Everybody is tired of you winning. Everybody's studying you. Everybody wants to be the team that knocks you down. And you still come back and win again. That is what Kobe and Shaq did. But the four-peat did not happen. In 2003, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs stopped them. David Robinson was in a farewell season, no longer prime admiral, but still a veteran presence. Duncan was the main force. The Spurs beat the Lakers and ended their run at 4 straight. Then the relationship between Kobe and Shaq kept getting more complicated. There was tension, there was ego. There were different approaches to work, leadership, preparation, and conditioning. And that conditioning part matters. That is not about disrespecting Shaq. Prime Shaq is one of the greatest players ever. He may be the most physically dominant force the NBA has ever seen. And Kobe saw what Shaq was, and he saw what Shaq could have been. Kobe believed they could have won more together if Shaq had stayed in peak condition and matched the work ethic. That is not hate. That is a competitor looking at a once-in-a-history weapon and saying, we could have done more. And that is part of the tragedy about the dynasty. It was already great, but it still feels like it ended before it reached its full ceiling. Chapter 4, The Proof. After Shaq left, the question followed Kobe everywhere. Could Kobe win without Shaq? That was the question. People said he needed Shaq. People said the dynasty was really Shaq's. People said Kobe could score, Kobe could entertain, Kobe could look like Jordan, but could he be the number 1 option on a championship team? Before Kobe answered with rings, he answered with fire. The 2005-2006 season is one of the wildest scoring seasons in NBA history. Kobe averaged 35.4 points per game. In that era, with that spacing, with that shot diet, with that much defensive attention, that is almost hard to explain. He averaged 41 minutes a night. He scored 2,832 total points. He grabbed 5.3 rebounds per game. He gave you 4.5 assists per game. He gave you almost 2 steals per game. He shot 45% from the field while taking some of the toughest shots any wing could ever take. That is not normal. That season, Kobe dropped 62 points in 3 quarters against Dallas. Not 4 quarters, 3 quarters. He outscored the Mavericks by himself through 3 quarters. Then he gave Toronto 81 points, one of the greatest scoring performances the game has ever seen. And now Kobe Bryant did not win MVP. Now, respect to Steve Nash. Nash was brilliant, but come on, Kobe was putting up 35 a night. Kobe Bryant was the MVP to me. That was not just scoring, that was carrying. That was a man trying to keep a franchise alive by himself. Kobe finally won MVP in 2008, but the wild part is that his official MVP season was not even his most explosive individual season. It was the year the voters finally matched the award to his greatness. In 2008, the Lakers reached the finals, but they ran into the Boston Celtics. Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, the Big Three. Boston beat them, and that loss matters because it created one of the biggest what-ifs in Kobe's career. If Kobe wins in 2008, then 2008, 2009, and 2010 become his own second three-peat. 3 with Shaq, 3 without Shaq. That would have changed the Michael Jordan comparison forever. If Kobe goes 7-0 in the finals, we're not just saying he's the closest thing to Jordan. We might be asking whether Kobe passed him. That is how close he is to changing the entire conversation. But even without the sixth ring, Kobe still answered the biggest question. In 2009, the Lakers beat the Orlando Magic. Kobe won his fourth championship, but his first as the clear lead man. Pau Gasol was excellent. Lamar Odom mattered. The team mattered. Nobody wins alone. But Kobe was the engine. Then came 2010. Lakers versus Celtics again. That one meant more because Lakers Celtics is not just a matchup. For Kobe, it was revenge. Boston had taken 2008 from him. Now he had a chance to answer. And when the Lakers won, Kobe had 5 rings, 5 championships, 2 finals MVPs. Could Kobe win without Shaq? Yes. Not once, twice. Now when you look back at Kobe's resume, it almost feels too big to read out loud. The Black Mamba, gone too soon. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.